Oh, we're live now. Yay!
We're live. We're live. It is Friday, October 3rd. This Life of a Showgirl, whatever is it called, is out. We were just talking about Taylor. It's a bit divisive, and I think it's kind of fun to talk about things that aren't horrible fucking world politics for a second.
Amen.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm Heather Vickery, and I'm a transformation coach. I help people go from where they are to where they want to be by learning to know themselves deeply and completely and then unwire all the bullshit that society's put on them so that they can actually lead from embodied joy. I do that through private one-on-one coaching. I have a community membership and I host retreats all over the world. And I'm so super excited to be here talking with my friend Kim today about energy management versus time management, because as a projector in human design, this is my everyday challenge. But meet Kim.
Hi, everyone. I am Kim Romaine. I am a life and business alchemist, and I help social justice champions, change makers,
Yes.
do all the things that they are here to do, make the impact that they are here to make in the world by going through the deconditioning process. So we, much like what you do, Heather, is we strip away everything that we think is ours and yet is collective bullshit, and it is not ours. We learn to let that go so that we can create the impact that we're here to make with much more ease, more joy, and coming back to ourselves so we can hear our own goddamn wisdom.
I love that. And I think I know you well enough to know, Kim, that you're not going to be really pissed at me for saying
No,
this. But if you are, then I ask for forgiveness in advance.
of
I'm
course.
an ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of
Yeah,
girl.
yeah.
We were just talking in the pre-show before we got live about the fact that neither of us have this figured out. Kim was sharing some things that she's like, that why do I do that? And I was like, oh, I can help you with subconscious reprogramming. And the shit that Kim does, I'm like, I really need that. Like there's some shit that's all like clogged, right? So we are experts because we're trained and we help people and we know what we're doing, but we are still human and we come up with our own blocks and we have our own shit that weighs us down. I think the difference for me, and I imagine it's the same for you, Kim, is that I recognize it fairly quickly
Yeah.
and I'm like, let me do something about this.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, it took me a really long time to be able to not just recognize it, but know that I already have the tools available to me, or I know who to call and be like, help me. Yeah.
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 And I think that's such a badass move. Like that's a power move. That's a superpower move to catch yourself in your bullshit. And if you've got your own tool to do something about it, or have the guts to ask for help from somebody that you trust and admire, we have the resources. Or ask for a referral from somebody that you trust. Do you know anybody who does this? Like I love to give referrals to other people who don't do exactly what I do. Um, Asking for help, I think, is such a sign of strength, and it's not what we're taught.
It's absolutely not what we're taught. And that's the conditioning, right? That's the collective fear of I have to have all my shit together. And I will say, particularly as individuals that identify as women, we
Yes.
have the tendency to feel like we have to have it all figured out. If we ask for help, we're showing some sort of quote unquote weakness. That's all that collective bullshit, right? That we've lived in this patriarchal, misogynistic, white supremacist world that makes us feel like we are less than if we can't figure it out ourselves. We are not meant to do it ourselves. Right? We both totally geek out on human design. There's a reason why everybody is designed differently because
Yes.
everybody has a different role to play. We see this play out, right, in social activist movements as well. Everybody has a role to play. We see it in the rollout of the Taylor Swift album. Everybody has a role to play. Your role is, right, you're either a huge super fan and you're going to help her with this marketing machine that she has, which is pretty freaking phenomenal. Whether or not you like her music, but
It's
you cannot
impressive.
deny that is
Yes. Yeah.
impressive. So you're either part of that marketing machine or you're there to say, I can't stand it, which gives it more marketing.
Of course. We're still talking about it.
Exactly. So we
Yeah.
all have to play.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think this is a really good lead in. When we talk about energy management versus time management, it's the same shit,
Mhm.
right? It is still patriarchal societal bullshit that's Then we picked a date, and then we're like, "What should I talk about?"
Yeah.
And then right before we were going live, we're like, what was our
What are
topic?"
we talking about?
I remembered it, but it's a good one. It's been a really long week. Do you know that my 15-year-old newly permitted daughter totaled my car a week and a half ago?
I saw that in some text chain. Oh my gosh.
But it's
I mean,
been
I
a big been a lot for 2 weeks. It feels like it's been a year in the last 2 weeks.
so like I feel badly for you, obviously having to go through that, but to be newly permitted and like you're there and you're doing the thing, and the thing is scary. We don't want it to be scary, but it's scary. So she's there doing the thing, and she totals the car.
Yeah.
Like
And
part of it is like get it out of the way early,
didn't
but then,
total 3 other cars, but she did hit 3 other
oh
cars.
my god.
It's not funny. It's not funny, but what are you gonna do? But it's really interesting because to talk about there's no time management here, but energy management. She was like, "Why are you not mad at me?"
Mhm.
So what good would that do me?
Yeah.
It was not gonna do me any good because here's where we are, and I need to deal with this situation. I was worried about her emotional well-being. I was like, "You have to promise me you'll keep driving." I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "But I took on this responsibility. Said, I'm going to help you learn to drive, and you have to drive my car because you're a kid and you don't have a car." And,
Mhm.
there were some lessons learned, big, big lessons learned. And I am very worried about my premium. But beyond that, this actually worked out really well for me. My car got valued at twice as much as I thought it would. And I traded in my big gas guzzling Traverse for an electric vehicle that
Nice.
cost me $300 less per month, and I don't have to get gas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay," but I'm a little nervous to teach her to drive in it, can't lie about that.
No, no, no. Hey, right? Because I mean, and that's there's some energy management there for sure. But so thinking about it in terms of because we didn't throw money management in there, but we absolutely could because we're really talking about resource management. All of
Yes.
them are resource management. We're managing the resources that we have, and the resource that we always have access to is our energy.
Yes. Yes. And how you want to expel it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
Because
or
it's
nurture it.
there one way or another, or nurture it, but it's coming out. Your energy's coming out. What do you one way or the other? And I a 15-year ago version of me probably would have lost her mind.
Mhm. Sure.
Uh, and because I've practiced this for a long time, I did not have to be like, "Okay, do your breathing exercises. Don't freak out right now." I really was just calm. I was like,
Mhm.
"All right, here's what we're gonna do." The next day, I think the adrenaline wore off a little bit, and I was very shaky, and I was like, "Oh my god, what's gonna happen?" And, but it was okay. It's like, I'm here well, here's where we are. Yeah, yes. And financial management, I did some interesting manifesting. So I'm hosting this retreat in Costa Rica,
Mhm.
and I think this is energy management also, but I really wanna talk about the time management part. We'll get there.
Yeah, yeah, we'll get there.
I'm hosting this retreat in Costa Rica, January 2026. I only have, like, 5 or 6 spots left. I've been talking about it until I'm blue in the face. I know you're really familiar with it.
Mhm.
But it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. I owe them a lot of money. I have to make these payments every month, and, um, even if I haven't sold a new spot to the retreat. And this past 6 months have been really challenging. The business has been slower because I do corporate work, and they're all very careful right now with everything that's going on. And I had this payment due, and I was like $3,000 short. And I'm like, how am I going to solve this problem? I don't know how to solve this problem. Like, I got to figure out. So I asked a couple of people that I trust to loan me money, which I didn't really particularly want to do because that didn't feel great. Um, but they said yes. And then I did my stuff. I did affirmations. I did EFT tapping just for financial flow, right? Like,
Mhm.
this doesn't have to own me. I don't have to take this. Um, and then the next day, a client payment that wasn't supposed to come in until the middle of October came in, and it was a really big one.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, all right, it's about flow. So I sent everybody their money back, and then I made the payment, right? Like, okay. And I felt very in the moment, it was very clear that this was divine intervention, that it was manifestation, that I had removed an energy block and that created flow.
Well, and that's what all of it is. Whether
Yeah.
it's time, whether it's money, whether it's energy, all of it. It's all just blocks. And when I do think of energy as being the core to all of it, which is where when we were starting to talk, I had so many clients that week talk to me about, right, I'm running out of time. I'm overwhelmed. There's not enough time, right? It was all focused on time, which made sense in terms of the transit that we were going through at that time. Right now, we're talking about different types of resources. We are in a more financially activated transit alignment. Um, and so it makes sense, right? Why there's this focus on, okay, how am I going to do this? But when we look at, and it's the same with NLP, right? When we're talking about blocks, and it's not even as necessary to know how the blocks get there. At least I don't think so. I don't think why they're there is important. Just that they're there. And now what do we need to do to release those blocks?
Yeah.
So when you talk about, right, doing the EFT, doing the affirmations, what shifted for you? Like how did you feel differently even before the money started coming in?
Yeah, I felt calmer, and that's what I find with clients too, with any of the subconscious reprogramming, whether it's a subliminal audio or EFT. I can feel my heart rate lower. I can feel my skin cool a little, actually,
Hmm.
right? Um, my brain is a little bit less cluttered, and I don't have the answers, but I have a sense of it's okay. I can surrender into this. I don't have to have the answers. I just have to trust the process, which is something that I spend a lot of time doing.
Hmm.
But I can feel a physical shift when I listen to a subliminal or do time techniques, or EFT tapping. I feel physiologically different. And that's what I hear from my clients. What do you feel when you do them?
Yeah, I mean it's very similar, and it's interesting. So I was talking to a client this morning, who has been struggling with a lot of migraines and a lot of upper body, upper chakra um, blockages. She
Yeah.
didn't use those terms. I definitely did. I noticed. I was like, "Yeah, you got all that energetic blockage up there." Um,
Yeah.
and interested from a human design perspective, so she has an open head, so she's a splenic projector, open head, open root, open identity, open sacral, open solar plexus, and open heart. So she has, right, the ajna, the
Yes.
throat, and the spleen. And
Sure.
right?
Exactly
And
me.
so it's two deeply intuitive hit zones going to her throat that she can't mobilize because she has all of this energetic blockage happening in these upper chakras. So, what we worked on a lot today was how do we bring that energy down, right?
Mm,
How do we
grounding.
grounding is huge. It's huge so I have an open root as well. Any of us with open roots, when we have that opportunity to ground ourselves and to allow our energy to be held by something larger than ourselves, i.e. the earth, right? It's huge. And for me, when I feel it for myself, so I'm much more defined than that. I still have the open head and the open root, but as an
But
emotional manager, I'm more filled in. Um, but I find when I can feel the energy moving, particularly from my head down into my root, down into my feet, that level of calm, but it's also a level of clarity,
yeah.
right? Like the overwhelm just can't stick to me anymore. I can feel it sliding off of me and moving away from me. And I want to, whenever I get to that place, I'm like, can I just stay here forever? Because this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Do I have to go back to the task list?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have to go back up.
Yeah. I'm actually curious. So I have been in for months now, and I'm a little nervous about the icky weather coming, but I go out first thing in the morning and stand barefoot in the grass.
Mhm.
And uh, I have been picturing my energy, and I start so core. I think it is heart center. I don't think it's sacral, and I don't think that's intentional. I just feel like I'm starting from my heart center and I'm grounding down. I can picture the energy as a white light going down into the earth, and then I picture it going up. So it's very vertical energy.
Mhm.
I don't know what your thoughts are on that. And then I do my grounding affirmations. And I find that taking the 2 minutes to do that every day sort of sets me in a little bit of a surrendered, relaxed spot for what's coming.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't do the energy work like you do. I mean, I do my own, but I don't
Sure.
coach on it. So with the vertical, like, what are your thoughts on all of that?
So the vertical is fine. What's interesting to me is that you start in the center and go either way.
Hmm.
So you're still bifurcating that
Oh,
energy,
yeah.
right? Instead of fully connecting the circuit of
Well,
energy.
it goes down and then it goes all the way back up.
Okay. So but you start at the heart, you go down and then you come back down from the ground and go all the way back
Yeah.
up. If
Yeah.
you then go all the way back down,
No.
yeah, that's so you're still leaving a circuit open because
Okay.
you've gone from the heart down and then back up. So that circuit is closed. But now you only have energy going up from your heart center. You don't have that energy coming back down to
Okay.
complete it.
Okay.
So I use almost a figure eight when I do mine, instead of straight up and down.
Pretty anyone?
Yeah. Exactly. So it's like I do the straight up and down as well, particularly like for quick hits. And I
Mhm.
particularly like those when I'm horizontal because I'm also working on nervous system regulation at the same time.
Okay.
Uh, laying in the grass is great if you can, but if you can't, just even imagining the grass beneath you when you're laying horizontally is great to kind of hit all chakras. But the figure eight that I do kind of weaves in and out and then hits all of the zones and
Mm.
ties it all together. So it's a loose figure eight because you have to come in pretty close to get into the ones that are
Yeah.
the more of a I guess it's not a figure eight at all. Now that I'm describing it, I'm like, I always imagine it as a figure eight. But it's weaving in and out. It's
Mm.
almost like if you think about doing a shoelace, right?
Okay. And you do that just with your body, not with the surrounding areas?
I start with my body and then I have a grounding exercise that I do a lot. And it's a or an energy reclamation energy exercise where I start internally. I start with my chakras and then I weave them together in that way. And then I go to my energetic body. So right, the auric area. I work on that for a while and then I work on expanding that and contracting it so that my energetic body is breathing. And then I connect with the space around me and then I bring it back to myself again. So it's playing with all of the levels so that I'm caring for all of the different levels of my own energy and then I'm connecting in very gently with the world around me so that when I do actually connect in with the world, when I, go into my day, whether it's just going out into the world or on calls like this, I still have connection with my own energy.
Mm. That's beautiful.
So,
I
yeah.
like I like that. I have a meditation that I do where I picture, um, the energetic light coming from my core, and my whole body lights up, and then just see it go, and I don't know quite how I developed this, but I see it snake. It starts with my daughter's bedrooms. I see it go into their bedrooms and
Mhm.
find them at school and go to my ex-husband's house and find him, and then it crosses the country to my daughter in Seattle, and then I see the whole country light up, and then I see the whole globe light up, and, like, I don't even really know what that does, but it's a pleasant meditation.
It sounds like when I used to do loving kindness meditations, right? Where we imagine giving our love in these greater circles of influence, essentially, until we bring it as large as we can. And it's the same concept with when I play with the energy field. There's something that I find so energizing when I can feel my energetic body breathing,
I
right?
could see that. I'm certainly gonna play with that. I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
I love that.
It's pretty
Okay, so energy management versus time management.
Yeah. So how does time fit into this?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, and I also think it's going to be different for everyone. As a projector,
Mhm.
energy management always has to win over time for me. I've just spent a lot more time with energy management, and resting, and I do know I now have evidence that I am successful, more successful, and not just business wise, but as a human, more successful when I rest first, when I prioritize all of that.
Mhm.
Um, what do what do you think? And what do we say? It's very patriarchal. It's very societally conditioned. Manage your time well. Make sure you're maximizing your time. We have the same 24 hours in a day that Beyonce or Taylor Swift have, except that we don't have their resources,
Right.
right? So, um,
Well, and at one point they didn't have the resources and they still did what they did.
they did. So I don't know. Like yeah, I don't know.
So I think you're onto something with it's always energy management first. I've
Yeah,
I mean, I am not a projector and I will say if I don't manage my energy, even as a sacral being, there's a reason why I've had over 20 years of burnout in my life. Like it's really easy for sacral beings to burn out, but we don't
sure.
think there is because
Yeah,
we're not managing our energy because we don't
right.
feel like we need to.
Because you're saying yes to the no's, but yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And the pure gen I don't have a lot of pure generators in my life, but the pure generators in my life, absolutely, I noticed the same thing, right? They're like, how do I keep doing this? How do I keep showing up? How do I like I need to fill my calendar. I need to do all the things. And you just go, no, sweet love. I know you do. And really what you need to do is think about it from an energetic perspective. And so when I'm working with my clients, whether or not they know they're I find it easier to have the language of human design to work with.
Helpful, yeah.
But even if they don't start with that language, a lot of what I work with my clients on is this concept of it's not about the calendar. It's not about how many meetings you have. It's about your energy throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the season and really understanding what those energetic boundaries are just like right the energy boundaries of my energetic body what are those energetic boundaries that you have as an individual that will allow you to do all the things that you want to do make the impact that you want to make but from a very centered and grounded place and it's not the same for anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing that I think is interesting, if time management is something that you collectively feel is important and that's not something you're interested in shifting, and I'm not gonna tell people you have to, and if you
Yeah.
have a 9 to 5, like, I get all of it, and I do some I corporate coaching,
Mhm.
and what I have been working with these, and they are both generators, one's emotional and one's a pure generator, is in building energetic spacers into your time managed schedule. So one client, there's this one meeting every week, and his team has said, you come into this meeting like a mess. Like we're worried about your well-being. So it's the end of the day on a Monday. And he's like, I don't mean to. Like I really care about this, but I've been in these meetings all day and I'm dragged down by that. And I said, so what could we do to give you some energetic space to cleanse what was going on before so that you can come in with, a more open mindset and energy for this new one. We played around with I always tell all my clients, like, well, we're gonna throw around ideas, we're gonna play with things, you try and see what works.
Yep.
His answer was 20 minutes of SpongeBob. He's gonna schedule 20 minutes of SpongeBob, and he loves it, and it's working really, really, really well. And I was like, and maybe one day it won't be that, but it's something you've got the time blocked, and before you go into that call, you're gonna do something to decompress, to clear your energy, to let go of what was before, right? Some people will do breath work. Maybe somebody will meditate, go for a walk. Him, it's SpongeBob. Great. Okay, do SpongeBob. Then the other client, I said, because they shared that their work just doesn't bring them any joy
Mhm.
at all.
Mhm.
And and they're like, but you do that's what you do. You help people find joy. I said, yeah, it's little bits of joy, small joy, right? So let's think about this. I said, what does your morning look like? And I said, well, I get up and I get dressed and I get coffee and I sit down at my computer. I said, well, how about we start there? What can you do that brings you a little joy, fills up your energy reserve before you sit at the computer? And what they came up with to try, because we just try. So I tell clients every week, let's just try it. And then next week when we talk, we can see if it's for you or not.
Mhm.
A walk. Let me go for a walk. Like, just move your body, be a little somatic, be in space, breathe fresh air, do something. Do not just wake up and go and sit at your computer. Like, that literally hurt me to hear. Um, and so when we're talking about time management, first of all, understanding yourself, I think how you flow, it's very different for me as a projector than I think it is for other people. And we can talk about those differences. But creating space for an energy shift in a very scheduled day can make a huge difference.
Mhm. Oh, it's absolutely huge. And it so we can talk about it from the woo perspective all day long. I know you and I
All day long.
all day long. In the very corporate way, right?
Mhm.
Because many of my clients, even though I show up in all my wooiness, they're like, yeah, I can't go there with you. I love that you bring it and you're holding that for me. I have no idea what the fuck you're saying. So like, tell me what I'm doing. So if we really think about it, it is looking at your calendar and saying, how can I put in decompression time?
Yes. Yeah.
How can I ensure, how can I lovingly set those boundaries for myself? Because let's talk about boundaries for a second. Boundaries aren't for the other person, they're for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are a way of you showing self love to yourself, and they are a way of you being able to graciously say to other people, this is my boundary.
I read a Substack note earlier today. Instead of using the term boundaries, use exceptions. And I because
Mm,
boundary feels aggressive. I was like, no, 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 no. Boundaries are not aggressive. Boundary is not a bad word.
no.
Um, Now you can present your boundary in an aggressive way or not. That's
Mhm.
different. Delivery is a whole different concept.
Right.
But I'm like, no, no, boundaries. And we are so conditioned to not set boundaries because they might not like it. They might not listen. They might not respect it. They might not like us
It-
afterwards. I
It's not
call
up
them.
to them.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Exactly. I mean, I have an entire all day workshop on boundaries. Like, I fucking love boundaries.
I do too. Yeah.
I
No.
am, yeah, and incredibly unapologetic about them. And it hurt me because it was a group of women, and I was like, "Oh no!" Like we
Yeah.
don't need to come up with another way to say boundaries because we don't want to offend people. Can you hear yourself say that?
Wow. The conditioning is thick there. Yeah.
Thick. It was
Yeah.
thick. Yeah, yeah, it really was. And I say that with love. Like, I'm not hating on this
100%.
person. Like, I just don't want that for people.
Yeah.
But yes, when you're super corporate building in that time. And what I told the clients that I mentioned earlier, what I would tell anybody is create a little bit of a resource kit. Like, maybe you love routine and maybe you want to do exactly the same thing at the exact same time every day. I would hate that.
I would too.
So I have a toolkit. Like, what do I feel like doing today? Is it a subliminal? Is it a walk? Am I doing my Chinese exercises? Am I meditating? Am I going to just sit and read a book? Like, have a whole bunch of things. Check in with yourself and say what feels aligned today, and then try that. Um, Super routine does not. Where's your upper left arrow on your human design chart?
Upper left, hold please. I'm pretty sure it's I'm
Right
pretty sure
facing.
it's right facing,
Yeah,
but
that
I'm
sounds
like, my brain just went, "Wait a minute, is that my chart or somebody else's?"
fair enough. Fair enough.
Um, yeah, while you were talking about, like, that place of boundaries being people pushing back, people have pushed back about all of these things, right? They're constantly saying, "Yeah, it's right facing." The, and I think giving people language that they're okay with, right? I had a whole conversation earlier today around empowerment because love or hate the word, there is something to the definition of the word. And so the whole conversation we had is, well, do you wait for people to empower you or do you feel empowered?
I have what I think a lot of people consider a controversial take on empowerment.
Mhm.
I think you've probably heard it before, Kim, but
Probably on our podcast because that's the name of our podcast.
yeah, empowerment, I believe firmly, and I will stand on any stage, talk to any people, empowerment is inside work.
100%.
Nobody can empower you. They might say they can, but they cannot, because empowerment shows up when you choose yourself, when you say yes, when you say no, when you set the boundary, when you decide to take action, whatever that looks like. Empowerment can only be inside work. And I call bullshit on any coach or leader who say they empower people to X, because they don't. They guide, they lead, they mentor. I hope to do all those things. I hope to inspire, but I don't give you the empowerment. It's
Nope.
inside work.
Nope. And the flip side of that is if you're not feeling empowered, you have given your power away.
You have. Yes. And it's not on, it feels
No,
like a
no,
cop out. Oh, this person can empower me. Like that's like you're outsourcing your inner work. You can't, they can't.
no, you
You
can't.
gotta take responsibility for it.
Radical responsibility. So this is something that I love talking about is radical responsibility. And it comes into play with right this idea of our time.
Yes.
Take
Yes.
responsibility for your time
And your energy.
and your energy and your money. Like you are you are a grown ass adult. Unless you're listening to this and you're not a grown ass adult yet, you will be a grown ass adult at some point. And as grown ass adults, like take radical responsibility for the good, the bad, the mediocre, the mid range. It
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Yes. Yes.
Because what happens when you do that? What happens when you take radical responsibility for your life, your decisions?
Everything changes.
Everything. I mean, if you want to talk about empowered, and it doesn't matter when you screw something up because you're like, yep, I did that. I did that.
Yep.
That's embarrassing. I didn't want to do that thing. And now I get to take radical responsibility for it. And I get to make another choice. Because that's the cool thing. You keep making new choices.
It is. And I mean, this is the third line with me and all my clients constantly is, and especially with corporate clients,
Hmm.
especially, I'll say my job is to help you take radical responsibility for yourself, regardless of what's happening around you.
Yeah.
Because we need to be clear about what we cannot control. It's information, and information is great. So, given this knowledge I have, who do I want to be? How do I want to be? What intentional action do I want to take? And another, go back to the car accident. I wasn't driving the car.
Right.
I did not have the accident.
Right.
And where I took radical responsibility for that is in saying I took on the responsibility of teaching you to drive. So I can't be mad at you for not knowing how to drive when I'm teaching you how to drive.
Right.
Right. So all of these things that I couldn't control, what can I control? I control myself. So I'm not going to lose my shit because I took on this responsibility. That's radical responsibility. And it looks different in every situation. With, the world is a dumpster fire. You're in Canada, but the US is especially, but the whole world is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And I can't control that. So what can I control? How do I want to be? So, okay. So, I protest and I help write postcards and I do activisty stuff and I can control that. I can control not being on social media all the time. So I'm reading instead, or I'm talking to cool people like you who I love, or I'm working on my podcast. Like we have choices. And when we take radical responsibility for ourselves, everything changes.
Everything changes. And to, again, go back to that, like, how do we then touch our community? Right.
Yeah.
And you touched on that in there is from that place of radical responsibility, from taking control back over what you can control, how you respond to things, how you're um, engaging with your emotions, how you're engaging with your energy. All of that is stuff that you can do.
Yes.
The rest of the world is the rest of the world. And we're going to respond to it,
Yeah.
but we don't have to react to everything that's happening.
Yeah.
The more we understand, and this is where I've been spending a lot of time playing lately, is the more we understand that we're all under the same collective energy. And right now it's a big ass collective shadow. The more we understand that we're all experiencing something.
Yeah.
So if I take responsibility for what I'm experiencing and how I'm experiencing it, and you take responsibility for how you're experiencing it, we
Mhm.
can come into dialogue. We can process what we're experiencing together. We can support each other. We can even disagree with each other.
Yeah.
But then it goes back to, how am I experiencing this conversation?
Perception shifts everything.
It does. And
We're
but it's that level of consciousness and awareness that the vast majority of humans, I think, walking the earth, that's a really scary place to be because it doesn't feel secure.
It doesn't. And I think that's true. And this work for me, and I know for you too,
Mhm.
is centered in honesty as well. Radical honesty is like it doesn't. I'm not saying we should pretend things aren't bad. I'm saying we need to go. Okay, they're really bad. Now, what do I want to do? Who do I want to be? Like,
Yep.
we're not pushing feelings and thoughts and emotions under the rug. We're embodying them. We're letting them through. We're processing them, and we're using that as information to inform.
Yeah.
Um, I it's yeah, and when we're talking about, energy management and time management, I think this is a huge component of that. Um, what runs your schedule? Who's in charge of your schedule? How much control do you really have? If you're one of those corporate folks and you feel like you don't have any control, or if you're a stay-at-home parent and your kids have you running all around and you don't feel like you have any control, there is a significant amount of power and energy shift in calling yourself on that bullshit. Look closer, find the cracks, find the time to create just a little bit of space to level out your energy, to ground yourself, to choose yourself, to practice self care, whatever that looks like. It is possible. I years ago, I had a guest on my podcast. I said, "We're not stuck, folks," and she said, "Unless you want to be." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, that landed hard." So you're not stuck unless you want to be. If you feel stuck, I promise you, there is something you can shift. Something. I don't know
Yeah.
what, but there is something, even if it's just your mindset, your
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah. Well, and mindset. So mindset is a small component of this whole thing,
It's so small, but it's really important.
but it is important, and it is a part of it. Mm, And there's a
Yeah.
lot, I do feel like there's a lot of privilege in those that are out there saying, change your mindset and you're going to be hunky dory.
That's not
It
healthy.
helps. That's
Yeah.
not healthy. It can help in certain circumstances and certain situations. And when you feel like your life is totally falling apart, everything's falling apart around you, you can't find your way through. You're dealing potentially with some clinical issues as well, and you literally can't find your way out of that paper bag. Telling somebody to shift their mindset, go fuck yourself. Like,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yes.
Just stop it. Just
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Can energy work help with that? It can. Is it going to fix all your problems? No. I wish it would.
Yeah.
Right? That's another part of, like, sure, we can sit here all day and talk about the woo part of it, but the woo part of it doesn't. I'm so thrilled that energetically you were able to remove some of those blocks, that you were able to allow flow back in.
Mhm.
And to also understand that we can be doing that all day long and not even be aware of certain blocks that are still preventing flow.
Yes. And I do think that will change people's lives, and I would even go out on a limb and say almost anyone's.
Mhm.
If you're paying that attention and you're shifting micro things that have a macro impact.
Mm.
Um, Here's what I know for sure, because when I got my NLP certification and all the work and research I've done is you will always find what you're fucking looking for.
Oh, yeah.
You will always find it.
But
And
you
so
might be kidding yourself in terms of what you're looking for.
you might be kidding yourself in terms of what you're looking for. And if you're looking for problems or negative or things to be bad, you will find them.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for things to be grateful for or joy moments or peace of mind, you can find that also, even if there are bad things. The bad things are still there.
Yeah.
But what you focus on grows and what you resist persists. Like it's It's science.
It's science, biatch. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think when we tie this back into this concept of the overwhelm of time, the overwhelm of lack of time, right? My time is so thin. I spend my time, I waste my time, like all of that. Yes, because you're focused on your time.
That's right.
When
It doesn't
you're
feel
constantly checking your watch, checking the email, checking the calendar, what's next? What's next? What's next? That time is not yours. You have now given that time away,
powerful stuff.
right?
Powerful stuff. Yeah. And you know what's interesting for me as a projector? I have learned, and this is one of the things that I want your help with.
Yeah.
We're gonna support each other.
Yeah.
I have learned that the limiting belief that if I make more money, which could or could not be related to having more clients,
Mhm. Mhm.
I will lose my time. I will lose my freedom, which I love. I love my freedom. I love my time. I love my rest. I want to have my slow mornings. I'm not willing to sacrifice those things. And I have figured out that my block is, well, you can't get too busy with clients because then you'll lose your time.
Mm.
And I'm logical enough that I'm like, okay, well, I know that's not true, but it comes up over and over and over.
So what I wanna know is how does that so you said those words. Where and what do you experience somatically in your body when you say that?
Right here,
In your heart?
right in my chest and my
In
heart.
your chest?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And what does it feel like?
Constricting, like hard to breathe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Um, how does it feel when you put your hand on it?
I feel like I can take a bit deeper breath, but I can still feel it really tight.
It's
Really.
tight. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It just transferred. So yeah, I felt that too. Okay. So with the tightness, if you were to go inside and see that tightness in a shape or a form, what does it look like?
Like a really tight ball of yarn, maybe, or a rubber band ball.
Okay. Does it have a color?
It's yellow.
Okay. If you were to breathe deeply into it, could you make it expand?
No,
Okay. Can you make it contract? Can it get tighter?
no.
No. So it is solid in its form.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next question that we want to ask it is why is it there?
Okay. Because you worked so hard to have the time, the rest, and the freedom. Took you years to get there.
Okay.
I don't want to lose
Time
it.
time, rest, and freedom. Are those one thing?
They are the time and the freedom to rest.
So, and I won't go any further today because I'm cognizant of the time and cognizant that we're like I didn't ask your permission if I could do that. So thank you
I
for
get
going for the ride.
I'm like, "No, make it fix it."
Um, so the curiosity leads me to you said a ball of yarn or a ball of rubber bands.
I
And you're
switched to rubber
talking
band. Yarn could be flexible. Rubber, it was like
it was rubber bands because there's more
mhm,
yeah. Those great bright yellow rubber bands.
mhm.
Okay. But you talked about three separate concepts. Three separate concepts that are one, right? Because they're intertwined just like those rubber bands are.
Mhm.
So that the what I kind of want to leave you with that you can actually start to work with is this idea of can I just take if I can't make it bigger or smaller, right? If I can't manipulate the ball itself, can I loosen, not even remove, but can I loosen one rubber band?
Yeah. I had already started to see the ability to disassemble it
Yeah.
slowly.
And that's what you very slowly and literally having a conversation with each rubber band that comes off until there's no more need to.
Mm,
because each rubber band has its own belief, right? When you're talking about something that's intertwined like that, you're talking about a lot of energies, a lot of beliefs that are stuck, that are stuck together. And so how do we start to pull them apart so we can work with one at a time? We don't want to get rid of the rubber bands yet. Like, right? Some people would be like, just throw them
Learn.
all away.
Yeah, we want to learn from them.
We want to learn from them. And we want to compost them and transmute them and see what other wisdom they have. Because just like the collective shadow that we're living under, just because we're living in a shadow doesn't mean that we don't have joy from it.
That's right.
It's just the shadow is just a shadow.
Yep.
It's neither good nor bad. And that is a very binary way of thinking, of saying it's either, right, that constricted rubber band ball is something that's either good or bad. No, it just is.
Just is. Yeah. And so just for anybody else who's watching, what I know, and I know that's true. That's why I shared
Mhm.
it, and I appreciate Kim. Thank you for taking me through that. I love all of that. I know that past versions of me would have been super unaligned, pretended to be a generator, lived in this patriarchal society where I would have not chosen my space, my time, my rest, my freedom,
Mhm.
because I couldn't possibly be successful and make money if I do that.
Right.
I do still choose all those things. And now I can tell that there's a bit of an energy flow block keeping me from getting to that next level. So there's stages of this, right? Like we
Mhm.
start where we're making all of these misaligned choices and they don't work, and we start to dismantle that and take those apart. And then there are other things left. When we do time techniques, which I'm excited to do with you, Kim, we release, negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, beliefs. And inevitably, when I say after we've released it, okay, now what's left? There's another one because that's human nature. Right. And so, I tend to be the type of leader, as you all just saw, that is very clear and very honest and transparent about the challenges that I face as well in the moment so that you all can see we're all human and we're going through things together, and I don't have it all figured out all the time. I just kind of move through them most of the time a little bit quicker because I have experience and I have a
Mhm.
toolkit. Um so yeah, this was cool. What would you like to say as a final farewell about energy management versus time management?
Yeah, I think just kind of to wrap it up is to say that when you're feeling pressed by time, that is an indicator that your energy is off.
Yeah.
And if your energy is off, there's a misalignment that can be just like the rubber bands, right? One at a time dealt with. It doesn't have to be this deep, scary it can be a deep, scary excavation if that's what you want. Go deep in the void head first. Sure, I'm game. But if that sounds really repulsive, which it does to a lot of people, it's okay. It's just taking the time to start to be with your energy a little bit more so you can understand what is being bristly about time.
Yeah, love that. And I would say, and this is going, people are going to be like, you've lost your fucking mind. I would say when you feel that time constriction that you were just talking about, Kim, that is your biggest indicator that you need to separate yourself from your calendar, like as soon as possible, and do the opposite of working harder
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and go inward. Like when you feel like there's not enough time, that is when you need to shut it down, even if it's only for 2 seconds to do, I have my clients do the 4-7-8 breath work.
Yep.
In through your nose for 4, hold at the top for 7, release for 8, 3 reps. Even if it's a minute and a half, that constriction is a physical indicator that this has to stop,
Yeah.
at least for a short time.
Yeah. And I would say just go touch grass.
Go
It-
touch grass. Like,
ju-
actually touch it, y'all.
go touch something green that's alive. Like
Yeah.
just
A tree. Yeah. Yeah. This was so awesome. I always love talking with you. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody. We had several folks here. I'm fascinated by it. Appears, I don't want to make any gender assumptions, but it appears that all the folks who are here with us have what I would assume are male names. And I'm
Yeah.
fascinated by that. And I love it. And I love you guys. Follow us
Same.
both. Come hang out. We want to hear what you thought. what lit you up about it is very cool, kind of surprising, but really fun.
Yeah, I agree. I was noticing that too.
Yeah, so cool. All right, well, it's Friday. Go have a great weekend, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, everybody.